We're good, thanks.
Okay, hi, my name is Blake Ferrugia. I am a computer science major here at U of M Dearborn, University of Michigan Dearborn, and I'm currently in the game design course here. Essentially, what we've got going on here today is gaming demos. We have some student games set up. Over on this computer over here, we've got two-dimensional games. And over on this computer over here, we have our three-dimensional game that we are actually using. We actually created using the UDK Unreal Development Kit. It is a free suite of tools that Epic Games actually releases to students, enthusiasts, anyone who actually wants to get into game development, and just says, hey, have at it. In the 2 months that we've actually been doing it, we've created a full working alpha of our gaming prototype called Uverse Wall. I know, that's a fun name, isn't it? Hey, guess what happens in it? Uverse a wall.
So what got you interested in doing this, and what's the program like? Do you work in teams? How does it all work for the computer science and then the game course in particular, I guess?
Well, I've always had a strong interest in just game design, game development. I've been one of those people who plays the games and says, oh, what makes this game fun? What keeps me playing it? The games over here, we have to work in teams to actually develop. It's a requirement. For the three-dimensional game, it's actually one of our harder courses. I'm a senior in computer science, so we have a team of 4 people actually working on that game while it's actually happening. The two-dimensional games, we had smaller teams, sometimes just one person per team. If the person had a art aspect they wanted to go on, or a programming aspect that they wanted to develop for, that's what they would go for. And in the computer science major here, you're not just limited to straight coding, sitting at a computer, working with languages. You can actually go ahead and do whatever sprites you want to use. Anything two-dimensional, three-dimensional modeling. It's all on your time, and as a college student, there are great programs out there that give students free, highly professional software on student licenses that we always take advantage of.
Oh, that's great. What would you, how would you describe opportunities as far as if there are any internships or your prospects for after college, what your plans are, and what the marketplace kind of looks like for you?
The marketplace for video gaming is always strong. They're always looking for developers.
It just does one of these as time goes on.
His hand went off the screen, so you know.
My teammate, Ramani. And the marketplace is always strong for game development. And it's not just you're not just learning the skills of game design. You're not pigeonholing yourself into gaming. You have the skills to go on and do so many other things. You can do software engineering. You can do web development. You can do software tools.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of companies will look to hire ex-game designers, because one of the things that game designers excel at is creating a user interface that is easy to understand, easy to use. I mean, that's one of the requirements of being a game, is that a good game you should be able to pick up and use without reading the manual. And that's something that they look for a lot in the software industry, is how can we make our software usable. So they actually hire a lot of ex-game designers to design the user interfaces for their software.
Awesome. What kind of competitions are there for you guys to get involved in, or different events where you can kind of compete and show off your skills and find out how others are doing?
Locally, sometimes
we compete each other in class. I mean,
okay.
Right now we have 3 projects going on in class right now, and definitely between us and Matt's group over there, actually, we have our own little competition.
That's Matt's group. Don't give them too much of the But there's actually a lot of great competitions. They're held all across the country. A lot of the times having to do with the new big thing in development, which is called indie development, which is small teams like us putting together professional quality games with either lot of time, either we have a lot of time on our hands, or with the tools that they actually give out so we can do this, like UDK or Microsoft's XNA framework for 360.
And the indie game scene tends to be very interesting to watch because big companies can't really afford to take risks on their games anymore. I mean, when you're dumping $20 or $30 million into a game, it needs to be something that absolutely will sell. So you'll see Call of Duty, you'll see Halo. These are games that don't really vary much from generation to generation. But the indie games don't have that kind of financial risk, so they can just pump out any idea that they want and run with it and see if it works or if it doesn't work and then build on it. So you see a lot of cool new ideas coming out of the indie scene right now.
And it's honestly one of the best things to have on your resume. It's, oh, you did this competition, or oh, you actually won this. They love looking at that. A lot of Xbox Live marketplace games were indie game developers who were picked up by them because these were so great. This game won a competition over in Seattle or in Boston, if any of them are familiar with the Penny Arcade Expos that usually hold those kind of competitions.
Cool. Now, do you guys? This might be a different topic, but there's like the Angry Birds that kind of came out of seemingly nowhere, but it took a long time to develop. And then I just heard about 6 months ago about this 8th grader who was using the Corona SDK to develop an app that went to the top of the free apps on the App Store. What are your thoughts on those kinds of things? Are those things that kind of get your attention and you go, hey?
Yeah, I mean, one thing to keep in mind is that for every game that does rise to the top out of nowhere like that, there's 100 other ones that don't necessarily get that kind of coverage. Okay, it's kind of hit or miss as to whether your game will actually get that kind of widespread attention, but there's definitely the possibility that anyone who builds a game can, or really any software app at this point, has the potential to do that. And really it just gets run by, minor marketing, word of mouth is mainly the big way of how these things get around. And I mean, people recognize quality and fun when they see it, and then that sells.
Yeah, there are no set in stone ways of getting to the top in anything.
And different things are catchy. I mean, one of the ones that sticks in my mind was there was a $1 game on the Xbox Live Marketplace that came out of nowhere called I Made a Game with Zombies in It. The title was purposely, horrifically misspelled and mutated and whatnot. And he sold 200,000 copies.
He sold a lot of copies.
I know it's crossed the 200,000 copy border. Okay, and it just out of nowhere, this game that was mainly just a very simple top-down zombies coming from the corners of the screen and you shoot them. To he's actually made this company out of it. He's got 4 or 5 people I think working on it now.
Nice.
Scott Studios.
Scott Studios.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And I mean, so things that you wouldn't expect, can actually come around and make it big, even when you don't expect it to be a big success.
Awesome. Do you guys have any final thoughts for people in high school who are thinking about going into this kind of field? What kinds of things should they be doing now? What can they do to kind of get themselves better prepared and involved?
Honestly, the tools are all out there for you to use. Have that drive to actually go through, because when you first start, or if you guys are enthusiasts, it will be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Or most of the time, to be honest. It is a lot of work.
20% of the time, sunshine and rainbows.
But you'll find that for one thing, there's a lot of communities out there for development. If you want to go XNA for the Xbox systems, there's the XNA website where they have a huge community, just based around this. The Unreal Engine that we use in game development right now, that is another one with a really big community of they can walk you through how to make mods, to start with, more advanced topics. But look up for the communities that are around whatever area of interest that you have, and they can usually answer questions for you, get you started, point you in the right direction.
Cool.
Try and look for local game companies. Local game teams love to show off their stuff. They will never have a problem if you shoot them an email and say, I'm a student, I would like to see this, or tour your offices. They would be more than happy to set up an interview with you guys.
Yep. And final thing, try again, because you will fail a lot. And so just keep working at it.
That sounds like the basis for a great game.
It does.
I think the game's called You versus.
Can they see that on your guys' website? Or is
we don't have it on a website yet, but it will be up there by the end of the semester.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem.